I know the Micah Parsons trade went down about 5 days ago, but let's be honest. Can you call yourself a real Packers fan if you're already tired of talking about it? On today's show, we're going to look at some behind-the-scene details and some really cool insight given to us by ESPN on everything that went down from Jerry Jones' side, Brian Gutekunst's side, even Matt LaFleur's side of the Micah Parsons trade. Cannot wait to get into this one with you guys. Speaking of getting into things, okay? We are already started on our Week 1 sub battle against Lions Talk. And unfortunately, they're already in the lead, 56 subs to 53. If you want to take them down on Sunday, and if you want to take them down today, starting right now in this Week 1 sub battle, I need your guys' help, okay? If you haven't yet, make sure you do me one big favor. Hit that subscribe button and join us today for daily free coverage of your Green Bay Packers right here on the Packers Report. So my first takeaway from the article, something that I thought was really, really cool, is Brian Gutekunst was a lot like you and me. He thought that there was absolutely no shot that Jerry Jones would end up doing what Jerry Jones ended up doing. He thought that at the end of the day, Jerry Jones was probably just going to pay him. ESPN with a little bit more on that. Several Packers sources said that Brian Gutekunst thought all along a trade for Parsons was a long shot. He thought that when push came to shove, Jerry Jones would not part ways with the star player in the prime of his career. And I mean, let's be honest, I really don't blame him for multiple reasons. Number one, like that quote just said, it's kind of hard to believe that someone's going to part away from a star player who is in the prime of their career, who's only 26 years old and has done something through his first 4 seasons that has not been done since Reggie White, right? We've covered this already. No player in NFL history outside of Reggie White and Micah Parsons have gotten 12 sacks in each of their first 4 seasons, okay? But Micah Parsons, he changes that. He makes that different. And we know that there's been some historic Cowboys holdouts over the last, 3 decades since Jerry Jones has bought the team that have all ended up with signings, that have all ended up keeping them around in Dallas, okay? You can throw it back all the way to 1994 and talk about Emmitt Smith. Just was covered in the America's Team documentary, right? After winning the Super Bowl and leading the NFL in rushing. Jerry Jones waited until after week 2 to sign him. Same thing with Ezekiel Elliott right before the season. CeeDee Lamb right at the end of August, practically before last season. Dak Prescott signed September 8th, the day they kicked off the 2024 season. This has been a theme with Jerry Jones, and it's no lie and no, I guess, surprise that Brian Gutekunst thought that would continue. Be honest, down below, did you think the Packers were trading for Micah? Now that we can reflect, now that we know he's a Green Bay Packer, look back to last week at this time on Tuesday. Did you think it was actually happening? Let me know in the comment section down below by giving me a yes or a no. The second takeaway from the ESPN article, let's be real, guys. Jerry Jones kind of screwed this thing up big time, okay? Not only did he have a star player that was still entering his prime at the age of 26, but he also happened to trade him away to a team that has beaten this team in the playoff for decades, okay? And even David Mogetta and Micah Parsons kind of gave one last heave to Jerry Jones saying, hey, we'll stay if you do this. And, of course, they didn't. ESPN writes, 2 days before Parsons became a Packer, the pass rushers representatives made one last-ditch effort with the Cowboys in the form of an email. The note from Mogetta to Jerry and Stephen Jones, as one source who viewed the correspondence recalls, acknowledged that a lot of things have been said in the media. Perhaps some miscommunications along the way, but despite all that, Parsons was still willing to do a deal that would keep him in Dallas. The letter said Parsons' representatives were willing to come to Dallas, jump on a video call, whatever it took to potentially hammer something out. Jerry Jones responded to the message, saying the Cowboys were prepping a trade, and if Parsons wanted to play in Dallas in 2025, he would have to do so on his 5th-year option. Parsons would become a free agent in 2026, but the team could also use a franchise tag to prevent his departure at that point. At the end of the day, Jerry Jones just let his money get mad, okay? And this is honestly typical Jerry. He let his ego get the best of him. And this isn't anything new. If you follow the National Football League, that means you've been kind of up to date with what the Dallas Cowboys have been doing, since they're the only thing that any media members seem to talk about. And this is a theme for Jerry Jones. Going back to 1995, I know we're throwing it back to the mid-'90s with the Cowboys a couple times already, but he let go of a coach who just won back-to-back Super Bowls because his ego got hurt in the way of things. He wasn't getting enough credit, right? And then that's kind of when we've really seen over the last decade and a half, he's resorted to hiring and keeping coaches that he feels like he can control. It's the same reason that he kept Jason Garrett forever. It's also the same reason that he hired Mike McCarthy. I know we got mixed opinions, mixed emotions among Mike McCarthy and this fan base, but let's be real. When Jerry hired him, nobody was really vying to hire Mike McCarthy. Kind of the same thing with Brian Schottenheimer. He was really on nobody's list, nobody's radar, but what Jerry Jones likes to do is he likes to keep control. He cannot stand losing control. And that's what happened with this negotiation. Things got a little bit out of control. And he wanted to save face, wanted to prove that he still has the final say in everything. So he said, you know what? Screw it. We're trading you. I don't care if you still want to stay here. That would look weak on my part. I'm not going to let my ego, my control get in the way of that. The third thing I took away, it's kind of really interesting. Things really started moving about a week before. I love when we get a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at how these things happen, because I know deep down every single one of us kind of secretly wishes we were a part of a front office, that we were part of Green Bay Packers front office. And it's cool to see that this big of a move really didn't get the wheels started on it until about 7 days prior. ESPN said that by late afternoon Thursday, this was not this past Thursday when the trade went down, but the week before, Matt LaFleur spoke directly with Parsons about their new partnership, with his assistant coaches coming in and out of LaFleur's office to high-five and celebrate. And I really, really like, it's fun to see how excited those guys get, because I feel like we can look at football coaches, and in our minds, they're these stoic human beings that are phenomenal leaders, and they just seem a little bit otherworldly. But at the end of the day, they're just like you and me. If we were in that exact same situation, we would have been high-fiving, hugging, freaking out, because you're getting a generational player. You're getting a guy who's dominated the National Football League since he's been in the National Football League, okay? And so I get 100% the reactions they're having because it's fun, and I know that we would have the exact same reactions. Call it now for me. Get in the comment section down below. How many sacks for Parsons in 2025? I think he's probably going to get about 15 week 4 against the Dallas Cowboys, but outside of that, just kidding. How many sacks on total for this next season for your new star edge rusher in Green Bay? We're going to step away from talking about Micah Parsons for a second to talk about something even better, and that is our awesome friends and great sponsor here at Underdog. Guys, football is back, and I could not be more excited. And if you want the best place to make picks and win money all season long, you found it with Underdog. Let's cut to the chase. If you download the app today and sign up with promo code Packers Report, you score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. And I know we got the Packers-Lions game coming up on Sunday. But before that, we got the kickoff to the season. That's Cowboys-Eagles. Thought I'd make it a little interesting for us. I really, really like these 3 picks. Give me the higher on CeeDee Lamb, 6.5 receptions. Give me the higher on Saquon Barkley, 2.5 receptions. And then you know what? I think that the Cowboys are going to be down late. I think they're going to have to air it out in the fourth quarter. It's going to be higher than 36.5 pass attempts for Dak Prescott. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Packers Report to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Packers Report. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playingitterms_dfs_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 helpline at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. The fourth and I think most interesting takeaway is that Mike McCarthy seems to have actually helped Brian Gutekunst make this decision. He seems to actually have been a guy that Gute went to kind of help him process this and see if it was worth it for Green Bay. Gutekunst and Green Bay reached out to people that had worked with, played with, or coached Parsons in college and in Dallas. He wouldn't name names, but league sources says Gutekunst and McCarthy, who coached Green Bay from 2006 to 2018 and Dallas from 2020 to 2024, maintained a good relationship. And I feel like at this point, you can kind of tell that Green Bay was locked in. They're just kind of doing their due diligence, doing their final background checks where they make sure they want to pull the trigger and make the deal get done. And I love that they went back to Mike McCarthy because he has no reason, in my opinion, to lie to Green Bay. Because if you look at what the Dallas Cowboys did to him, when they fired him, why they fired him, it's even a little bit more egregious than when and why and how Green Bay did it. Right? So he's pissed off at Jerry Jones. He probably wants Micah Parsons off the Dallas Cowboys because I know those two had an up and down relationship, but for the majority of the time, they really, really liked each other. But I really just think it's cool that, 7 years after a head coach is fired from a certain place, Brian Gutekunst still feels like the relationship's there and that he needs the help to make that final sign-off, and he gets it from Mike McCarthy. The final thing we're going to discuss today is what was being discussed a lot yesterday at the end of the day is Micah's health problems. And it's pretty apparent that they are somewhat real, okay? And ESPN weighed on it really, really well, saying he dismissed his back problem, revealed on Monday, to be an L4, L5 facet joint sprain, as something that would be a major issue, reinforcing the belief that his contract, not health, was at the core of his limited summer participation. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. People, and when I say people, I mean myself included, I feel like everybody was kind of surprised to hear that this was real. Like when the news came out yesterday, it was an L4, L5, like spinal injury. Everybody kind of was like, wow, I thought he was just faking the injury so that way he didn't have to be at training camp. That way he could go on his holdout. But it turns out to be something legitimate. The good thing is I don't think it's going to affect his play much, or his status at least. It came out yesterday that he's going to take an epidural injection before the game against Detroit. And in my opinion, I would not be worried at all if I were you guys about his status for Sunday. Okay? David Gute actually went on First Take today and said that he's feeling much better. Said Parsons was prescribed an anti-inflammatory by the Cowboys, and, quote, if that doesn't heal to the point where he can be on the field Sunday, I know Micah's going to do everything he can to be on the field eventually for the Packers. And Micah even mentioned it yesterday or 2 days ago in his press conference. He said, I didn't get traded to be on the sidelines, right? They didn't give up everything they gave up for me to be on the sidelines watching. And he's already not even on the sidelines. He was at practice just yesterday. And in my opinion, you look at this picture, you look at this drill, if it truly is a back injury, am I the only one that feels like they wouldn't be making him do this particular drill where he's holding a sled, where his back is pretty much bent? In my opinion, if I'm a team doctor and I think he's got a serious back injury that could keep him out for multiple weeks, and especially week 1, I'm not making him do this. But he did, so in my opinion, I feel like that gives you a little bit of good feeling that he'll be ready to go on Sunday. That's going to be it for today's show. Make sure you guys got me on social media. You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Joey Peterson on both those platforms. Made it super easy. I actually put those links in the comment section and description of today's video. And while you're down there looking for them, you're going to find that big red sub button. If you haven't joined us yet, do it today. It's 100% free to do so. Locks you in for daily coverage of your Green Bay Packers. And it's the best decision you're going to make all day. We'll see you next time.